What's our next one? Oh, you have a book to review by Stephen King. You read Mr. Mercedes?
Well, after I read Fairy Tale, I just looked at like different rankings because he has so much material and not ever reading any of it. I mean, I've seen some shows and movies and stuff based on his stuff, but I was like, what should I read next? So I kind of looked at the reviews of some of the material, and there was a high review for Mr. Mercedes. So
it says it's a trilogy.
Apparently it is. I heard there's a new one coming out with one of the characters in it. I don't want to spoil it. I won't say who the character is because you kind of won't see it coming. But listen, this is not really my kind of genre. This is crime. Yeah. This is crime and like a really dirty serial killer type of thing.
What's with the umbrella?
I don't know. Anyway.
You read the book?
I don't know what it has to do with umbrellas.
Good.
I don't know what the umbrella has to do with it. Anyway, it's basically, it's real dirty, grimy. It's about a retired cop. Now, I guess I do have a few retired cops in my family, but I don't really know them. But if you know a retired cop that's been on the job for a long time, it's hard for them to move on from that, right?
That can be said for a lot of people when they leave work. They got nothing to do.
Especially being a cop and you got cases that you didn't solve. And this is a case that wasn't solved.
You're talking about detectives and investigators.
Yeah, detectives. So this was a case that wasn't solved. There was a couple other ones, but this was the big one that was bothering him. I'll just give a little bit because it starts out like this. Starts out that the cop gets a letter from the killer. After he's retired. And the killer knows some things about him.
Ha ha ha, I got away?
Yeah, kind of. But it's written in a weird way. Anyway. But we find out who the killer is right away. It's kind of like No Secret. We find out. So it's told in the person of... Basically, it's mostly told in the viewpoint of the cop and the viewpoint of the killer.
So they tell you right away who did it.
Yeah, you find out very soon who did it and who he is.
And then the rest of the book is about what? Proving it?
It's about the dance between the two of them, essentially. And some other characters that are thrown in. And these characters go on, apparently, in some of his other, or at least one of them goes on for his other novels. I've actually signed up for a new one, but I guess there's one in between I'll have to find and read that one. Anyway, the only thing I didn't like about it had really bad language in it. The killer is very, very bad. He's like racist. I didn't like to hear that, but that's the way the world is, I suppose. Well, it's just something I'm not used to hearing.
So bad. He's a murderer. That tends to be pretty bad.
He's not just a murderer.
He's also a racist murderer.
He's a hateful person. He hates everything, and it's really this is definitely restricted. He's like
not a big surprise
him and his mother are in love or something. You know, he's a real twisted mother. You know.
Okay.
It's like Silence of the Lambs type of thing, almost. Not that bad, but basically. So I'm not really into that stuff that's so dark, but it doesn't matter. The book was really well written. I wanted to find out what was going to happen and how it was going to end, and yeah, it was good. It was really well written. I'm just not used to such, I guess, really hateful characters.
Really graphic? Is it like watching a David Fincher film?
I don't know what that means, but...
You know, like watching Seven or...
I don't know.
No, the girl with the dragon tattoo.
No, this guy is very twisted and anyway, stuff with his mother is gross. But, so it's not for everybody. But I still did enjoy of course, he wrote a good book. I didn't think it was extremely long. I don't know, it seemed to be fast-paced. Thought it was good. It was well written. I've just never really read like cop drama like this. But I'll see if I can read the next one. I'm not sure what it is, but I know there's another one coming out with that same character, so we'll see. Anyway,
right. What kind of rating would you give this?
I don't know, because if you're into this genre, I'm sure you'd give it like a really great high rating. I mean, it's really well written, but for me, it's just kind of so dark. I don't like stuff that's incredibly dark. I'll give it like an 89, because I don't like the really dark stuff. It was gross. Like, the guy was gross. That's all I can say. And what he had to say was gross, and I didn't like hearing it. But the fact is, we do have people like that out there. So, anyway, There's not too many of them, thank goodness. Yeah, so it was well done though. It was totally different from the last book that I read.
Fairy Tale?
Oh yeah, totally.
Which one do you like better?
I like Fairy Tale better because that's more my thing.
Yeah, and this
But
was not. This
it's
was
not
too
science fiction at all. This
hardcore,
is hardcore old
real
stuff.
life crime,
Yeah, but like we're talking
but
like
very grotesque and
the
brutal.
worst killers. We're talking like Dahmer type. This is
Yeah.
what it was. It was like a Dahmer type thing almost, but not as
Okay,
the killing wasn't as sophisticated. We'll put it that way.
fair enough. So,
Yeah.
what kind of rating would you give this
Like
book?
an 89 or something. I don't know, because
Okay.
it's not really my thing. But I know it was really well written, and I wanted to know what happened. But I didn't like that character at all. He just grossed me out so much.
Okay.
So
Well,
I guess that's well written, right? But it's just not my thing, you know.
Let us know what you think of Mr. Mercedes by Stephen King. And this is an older one, you said.
Well, apparently it came out in 2015. Basically, I looked up at the recent books and I saw what people liked, and this one had a much higher rating than some of the other ones. So that's why I picked it, because there were so many to choose from. I got all of them out there.
What's your next book?
Well,
Can you tell us?
right now I'm actually reading one, but I'm getting really bogged down in it. It's bothering me.
What is it?
I am reading currently, I think it's called The Rose Code, but it's kind of dragging me down. I just want it to be over with at this
Okay,
point.
well,
It started out
we're just going to
interesting.
move on. If
Yeah.
you have thoughts about Mr. Mercedes, or if you want to give Christina a suggestion for what Stephen King book to read next, leave us a comment down below, please. Also,
Right.
our contact information will be later in the show. It's also down in the description. You can